Welcome back to Sports On. Before going to break, we're discussing about group stage and knockouts of FIFA World Cup 2018. Our next guest is a brilliant footballer and who is representing Bangladesh veteran in next Sunday. Mr. Abdal, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Like other episodes, we're going to show you some of the best goals been scored in the Super 16 round. Let's take a look. There were some fantastic goals. Which one did you like most?
Yeah, there's been some outstanding goals in the last round of games. I think for me personally, the goal from Argentina, Di Maria, the way he struck the ball was fantastic, and the power he got from a standing position. I think that was my pick of the goals from that round. So in the next round, we've got some fantastic games. I think, for football fans, we've got some fantastic games. Uruguay, France, Brazil, Belgium, probably the pick of the tie. Very good teams. They've shown free goal scoring form in the World Cup. But defensively, both teams have got gaps, and I think it could be an interesting game there where it'll be an attacking football where who can score the most goals in that game. So going back to Uruguay, France, I think that's going to be a very crucial game, a very tactical game, because the players on both teams are very tactical. They're very, very skillful players. But I think in this one, France have the momentum at the moment. They have a huge a squad of fantastic players. But I think Mbappe, who's been playing up front recently for France, a newcomer to the world stage, he's really set it on fire and he's made a name for himself. So he's the one to watch out for in that game. If France can feed him and get him the ball, I'm sure he will give Uruguay's defence lots of problems. But that's not to forget, Uruguay themselves have two fantastic forwards in Suarez and Cavani. And Cavani in the last round showed, even though he's pushing on in his age, but he still has the ability to score some fantastic goals. And he carried them through in the last game with two fantastic goals.
What I like the most is they keep switching from right to left, left to right.
And this is what is going to be a problem for France. In Uruguay, you don't have an out-and-out striker. Between Cavani and Suarez and the midfield, they're interacting. So it's going to be tough for France to pick them up. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up France, if they're going to play a 3-man or 4-man.
Do you think anyone else can shine?
I think in that game, like I say, it's going to be the forward who can score the most goals there, Suarez, Cavani, Mbappe. That's not to say the midfield. France have a very strong midfield with Pogba in there, and the wingers, Griezmann. They've got so much talent there, but you can have all the talent you want in the world. But if they don't perform on that stage, then it's a big game now. Any mistake now can be costly. One mistake can see your team back on the plane, going back home. Yeah. So it's survival of the fittest. The bravest, the players, the confident players, they will shine now. This is where when the world class players are coming through. So I'm sure in that game we'll see many.
Russia is facing Croatia.
Yeah, again, the home nation has surprised everyone so far.
As Hassan said, they are playing with 12 players, home crowd.
As a Liverpool fan, we know what it's like when you come to Anfield in the European nights, the fans of the 12th man. It can do wonders for you, and I'm sure the whole of Russia will be behind them in this game. But I think this is a game too far for them. They got a little bit lucky in the last round against Spain. But you beat what's in front of you. They beat a very good Spain team with a bit of luck. But in the World Cup, in tournament football, you need that luck. And they've had that, and they've got the support of their nation. But I think this is a game too far for them. Croatia have too much talent and experience. Who do you think
can be the key player for this game?
In this game, I think the Croatian midfield is going to be crucial. And I think that's where the game's going to be won. With Modric, Rakitic in the midfield. Mandzukic up front, he's been scoring goals, so he's going to be a key player for Croatia. But that midfield is where they're going to control the game, I think, Croatia. But that's not to say Russia, they've got some good players and they've played well. Their strikers had a few goals, Zuba, so he's one to look out for as well because he can cause problems.
Brazil is playing against Belgium. Well, it's gonna be the great game.
I mean, this is the game of the tie, like I say, Brazil,
So many
Belgium.
superstars there.
Yes, a whole array of attacking flair, but I think in this game, you're going to see some defences, some problems with defences in the Belgium team. As we saw in the last round, Japan picked the holes in the Belgium defence. They were very lucky to come through that game. Obviously, with a better team like Brazil, if they give them the time and the space, they will be punished for that. And Brazil, with the forward line, they've got Coutinho, Neymar, Firmino, and Jesus. They will punish any mistake that Belgium give them.
Do you think it's going to be Neymar versus Hazard?
You could say that. A lot of people are saying that, but I personally think it's going to be Neymar versus Kompany, because Kompany is now back in the Belgium team, so he's going to have a big part to play in terms of keeping Neymar quiet. Like I say, it's an 11-man game, so they need everyone on form, because any mistake, like I say, will be punished.
Marcelo is coming back in the next game, so do you think he's going to make the difference?
One of my favourite players as a right back. If you watch Brazil, their wingers, their left and right back
It's fun to watch.
Exactly, Carlos. It was there before, Roberto Carlos, who, when I was growing up, I looked up to as a right back, a fantastic player, attacking player. Marcelo is a slightly different player, the same attacking influence. I think he's a little bit stronger defensively than Roberto Carlos was, which is good for the Brazilian side, but he will bring that extra edge and extra attacking emphasis to Brazil's squad.
England got Sweden in the next game. Do you think they're going to be tested real?
On paper, I think England got the best draw at the 4 games, but that's not to say Sweden are not going to provide a stern test for them. I think they're going to be lining up in a solid formation to stop England from playing. Just a little bit like Colombia did in the first half yesterday and parts of the second half. They didn't let England play. They bullied them, they harassed them, they tried to wind them up in places, stepping on the foot, the little headbutts. You're going to get that from Sweden because they're going to try and interrupt England's play. Because in the first 2 games, for England's group game, their football was free flow. They were playing passing, they managed to get the ball in the right areas, to Harry Kane, to Dele Alli, so it's important that they can have that flow. If they don't, then it's going to be a problem, and Sweden are going to get into the game the longer they can't play. And I think Sweden's game plan would be to disturb that play.
I hope not, but if it's going to penalty shootout again?
Well, I hope it doesn't go to penalty shootout, because I don't think personally my heart can take another penalty shootout with England, because it's very stressful. I think in this game, I think England will do enough to win it in 90 minutes. But for the neutrals, obviously, they want to see a penalty shootout because of excitement. But I want to see, and we want to see England go all the way this year. So hopefully they can do the job in 90 minutes.
And finally, I have to ask you, who do you think will lift the World Cup?
Well, my initial predictions were Germany, but they've been knocked out in the early stages, so that goes to show what do I know. But I think from the teams that are left in the World Cup for 2018, I'd really like to see England go all the way and win it this year.
And best of luck for your veteran team in the next Sunday as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Right, that's all from us for this week. Before we leave, we want to show you some of the best football fans' reactions around the world.